Okay, I think this is going to give you the best view of what I'm doing. So let's go ahead now and we'll start checking for some capacitor issues. And we've unplugged it. And we're going to start testing. So I want to look into the drum servo. So let's look into that. Last night I was working on my HFR70 because it had a problem in the head amplifier, and I rebuilt that last night and got it up and going. So so here is our area that we need to investigate. So here's one cap that I see that may not be. Okay, we found one bad cap. This cap is completely open. It's open. So that's our first issue. Our first cap that we see that's bad. Let's go and check this one. Yeah, this one's low. So yeah. Oh, that one's okay. Yeah, that one's okay. So we have that one bad one, which is right in this area. That was completely dead. That's probably the capacitor responsible for the drum. That one's low too. That one is really low. That one's almost open. So first thing we need to do is get my ironer nice and hot, and we'll start replacing those capacitors. And we check for some other ones here because we do have other caps here that we need to check out. So, you want up here? Hi. Here, go. Hi, Maui. You know, my kitty wants to join us, so she's gonna help us. This is the Betamax kitty. She loves to help. She likes to be with me when I'm repairing sometimes. So, what do you think, Betamax kitty? What happened? Do you think the capstan went out? Yeah, I think so too. So she's telling me that the capstan is bad. Yeah, you know it's bad capstan. Or not capstan, capacitor. Yeah, capacitor. So, alright. We have this cap that is also bad. That one's completely open. And that one is too. So, we do have quite a few caps that are bad. So we're gonna. I also want to check the power supply for bad capacitors as well. These have those like really shitty Elna capacitors. The Elna caps, they go bad quite a bit. So yeah, I'm not gonna pull the power supply out just yet. I'm gonna wait and see if we can get some of the other issues solved before we tackle the power supply. And I'm going to make this probably about a 3-parter. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to take this front panel off. Where'd my screwdriver go? Oh, I just lost my freaking screwdriver. I'm not sure where it went. Oh, there it is. Right there. So, let's get this top off, this front panel off. Because you can't work on the circuit board unless you take the front faceplate off. So, just keep that in mind, because a lot of times you'll have to take the front face off of it. The ED beta that I have, you don't have to take the front off to work on the circuit board, because the circuit board is short enough to where it'll just open up without having that issue. So let's go ahead and we're gonna just start getting those caps replaced. I need to get my iron nice and hot as well. So first thing I need to do, let's get my ironer hot and let's get it plugged in, and I'll get it so that we can start doing some of this stuff. So let's get this taken care of here. Gotta adjust the temperature, and I'm gonna adjust the temp for around 250 degrees. So what I'm gonna do is put it at about, we'll put it around 250. Actually, no, I'm going to put it around 300 degrees. So we've got that set for about 300 degrees. Is perfect for, because any lower than that and you may not get a good, the solder will not melt as good. And I just found that temperature works for me. If you get your iron too hot, you can actually damage the traces on the board, because I get my little suction cup and I suck the solder, and if the ironer, sometimes I have to let it sit there for a few seconds. If it's too hot, it will burn the lead right off. So that's just the way I do it. So, and we got my solder here. So let's get that out and get that ready for me to use. Now that we've got that situation taken care of, let's go ahead and pop this off here. There we go. Sometimes these little buttons pop off. On the front here, they tend to pop off. So. Alright. So now we can get let's take the screws off here so we can get the board lifted up. And like I said, I'm not gonna film. I'm not gonna film all of the caps. I'm just gonna film changing one or two, because if I showed changing out every single one, this would be an extremely long video. It would be too long of a video. So me and the Betamax kitty here are gonna do some cap replacements, aren't we? Yeah, we're gonna replace them, huh? Alright, so there we go. Alright. Yep, these are those Elna capacitors. Sony, for some reason, used a lot of the Elna capacitors. I don't know why, but they did. So yeah, that one was bad. I know that. So that one is probably here. Here we go. So. May have to replace some of these high temperature ones as well. I can't remember what one it was that was bad, so let me just. It'd probably help if I would write down the ones that are bad here. Let's go ahead and do the. Yeah, there's a lot of these that are bad, so. Elna capacitors are well known for going bad. I don't know if maybe they just didn't get the chemistry quite right or what it was, but sometimes they leak as well. So that's also a thing that you gotta look for. So let's just change out some of these here. Okay, so this one, we're gonna pull this one. Okay. Let's pull that one first. That one is a C202. So that one is. Should be that one right there, so those holes there. Okay. Alright, here's Elna. This is a 50 volt at 2.2. Let me get my kitty out and we'll be right back. Okay, so let's see if it'll play. It may work. I don't know. Okay. So it seems like it's just going in and out. Okay. So we don't have any take-up of the tape. So the cassette's going in, and obviously, as you can see, it's not threading the tape around the head. So one of the things that could be causing that is we could have a defective switch. Oh, there it goes. Okay, it was just a dirty switch. Okay. So it's just a dirty switch, I think, is what was causing it. Okay, maybe not. There it goes. A lot of times it's just dirty switches. Okay, so the minute we hit play, it's not working. So let's power it off, power it back on, and let's hit play. And I can see that there is no take-up. So right away I'm thinking that this is going to be a issue with the idler motor. So let's pretend like we've put a cassette in. Let's hit play. Okay, so with the torque, it won't do anything. So the minute a little bit of torque is applied, it's not working. So what I'm thinking though is I think that maybe that idler motor has some capacitors that has went bad, and that's why the motor is not operating correctly. So this could be a Hall effect device problem. I can smell something like it's almost like something's burning, but it's probably something else. It's not the machines. It's probably coming from outside. But anyway, so yeah, the minute we apply torque, because you can hit the play, well, but the minute that the you can play, but the minute you apply a little bit of tension, it stops. So let's go ahead and try. So let's just see if rewind and fast forward works. Because I think we've got an issue with the idler motor itself. Okay. But again, if you apply a little tension, okay, so it seems to be okay in that speed. That's actually fine too, so it just seems like play. Another thing that could be happening is it could be the if somebody has been messing with this machine, it could be that belt, because there's a belt on the one of the reels here, and if that belt is actually too tight, it will not allow the tape to move through the machine. Also, we could have a capstan motor failure, and I'm thinking that that's exactly what this is. Okay, now our head just stopped. Our head actually just stopped moving. We may have power supply issues. We may have a power supply failure in this machine. Let's see. I'm gonna get my little pick here. So we just lost our head drum motor. So we'll have to look into that. Yeah, our head motor just stopped. We literally just lost our head motor. Is that capstan moving? I think our capstan's moving, but it's not moving fast enough, so I'm glad it doesn't work, because I'm excited to work on it. I'm excited to work on it, so let's go ahead and try it with a tape. I am curious as to why we lost our drum motor. So our servo is going to be located on this board. It's probably got a capacitor that might have just went bad. Probably one of the capacitors has just went open on it. So let's just try spinning it and see if we can get that motor to come on. Well, it's now playing, but we have some issues. So we have quite a few issues with this machine. Yeah, so you just seen on camera that we were checking it out, and we can see multiple problems. Obviously the first issue was it wasn't threading around the head, and it wasn't playing, and now it's somewhat playing, but we just lost our head drum motor. So, and we may have, if the voltage is there, that's probably going to mean that our motor on the head has failed, if the voltage is there. If the voltage is not there, it's going to be caused by the servo area, where we've probably got a capacitor that has just went bad, because as you've seen, it was working and then we just lost our head. So we have quite a few problems with this one today, so we're going to go ahead and do some investigation. So let's go ahead and unplug this thing, and I'm going to look in the, right now I'm going to check for bad caps in the servo, and we'll see if we can get the head to start working again. That's going to be my first task, is to get this video head to start to turn again. because I can't get this thing to, it won't even do anything now. So but it's wiggling back and forth at first. It's like wiggling back and forth. See how it's struggling? It's wiggling back and forth. When you do that, look. There it goes. It's starting to spin. I think our voltage is there. So our voltage is definitely there, but we may have an issue with the lower motor assembly. This is probably going to be about a 3-part video because obviously we've got to do some things here. But okay, here's the drum drive, real table drive. So we got a few things that we got to investigate. So we've obviously got voltage going to the head, but we may not have the proper voltage going to the head. I'm also going to check the power supply and see if we've lost any voltages. Let's check for any fuses that might have blown. And there's 2 fuses, and I don't see any blown fuses, so we may have just a couple of capacitors that has failed on this thing. This is exciting because I actually got a machine this time that has multiple problems, and I can take the challenge and make it work again. So this is going to be a very fun video for me. I hope you guys enjoy this video. So the servo, that particular area, this might be for the capstan. This may be the area where that controls the capstan. The drum drive, which is the head drum, head. Let's just check some of the capacitors, and let's just see what we have to work with here. So I'm gonna do a little bit of investigating. I'm gonna go ahead and we're going to I'm going to put the camera down and try to give you guys a way of seeing what I'm doing. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to start testing for capacitor issues. I'm going to check not only the drum drive, I'm also going to check the servo over here. Now the servo can mean either the head drum or the capstan. So the servo basically controls the speed of the head and the capstan. So when you hear drum servo or servo, that's exactly what it's talking about, just so you guys know. So let's unplug this and let's get to it. I also received received belts for the customer's Sanyo, and we'll be working on that too. Probably not today. Probably work on his tomorrow. I've got a couple other customers right now that are taking priority. Yes, this is one that I bought to resell, but I do have a couple customers that need to get done, so I'm going to get those done today too. I actually ordered 2 sets of belts, and they've only sent me 1, so I have to contact them and find out why they didn't give me the other set. But, okay, So we've got I think that was a 50 volt at 2.2. It was. So that was a shitty Elna. Let's get this one here. Let's pull it out of this one. Here's a 50 at 2.2 here. And a lot of times these 50 volt capacitors, they do fail. I have had that situation before. I've seen a lot of the 50 volt capacitors go bad. I don't know why, but they do. So, alright, let's change this one here. And then I'm going to change the other one. I may have to unplug some of these wires in order to get the leads in there. So we'll just keep replacing the capacitors, and eventually we'll change. I'm just going to change all of the bad ones, and then we will do a once I get the bad caps replaced, then we'll turn it back on and see what the progress is. I do not like using this thin solder, but that's all I got for now, so. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and change out some of the other ones here, and we'll, like I said, we'll cut the video back in when I've finished doing so. I'm just going to nip the leads here. And I have to be extremely careful because, like I said, too much heat can damage the lead, and then I have to bypass the lead, so I'd rather not damage any leads. So I'm going to do the other ones, and then we'll be right back. So we got it plugged in. Let's just see if we have our drum motor back. Let's see, play is here. We do have our drum motor, but it's not, it ain't moving near fast enough, and you can hear it surging Can you hear that motor surging? So we're gonna go ahead and stop. Okay, so we do got our drum motor speed back. The speed is not correct, but we do have our drum is now spinning. There were two capacitors that I did not have. They are a 6.3 volts at 100 microfarad, and I'm gonna have to order those. So as far as those two, but those two, I think the 6.3 volts are the ones that control the capstan, and it says right here. So, well, maybe not, because let's see, because our drum motor servo goes. I basically so I've installed. There are 4 or 5 caps. There's the caps there that I replaced. Some of those Elna capacitors. So those were replaced, and that has restored our drum motor as far as getting it to where it'll turn again. So it's now turning. It is not turning correctly, and it is seizing, where it's not, it'll speed up and slow down. So we still have issue with the drum servo. We also have our real drive. What that is this is what controls the idler motor. So I'm going to check these capacitors on this side, and I'm sure that we've got some failed caps on the real drive area. So we could have problems with bad caps here on the real drive, or it could be the actual idler motor needs to have capacitors replaced. Because sometimes that's what needs to be, is that you replace the capacitors on the motor, because the motor has a circuit board, and they have about 4 capacitors, and those are 16 volt at 47 microfarad, which I have, so that's not a problem. So the two 6.3 volts are going to be these two capacitors, are going to be the ones responsible for that. So, and those are these right here. These are 6.3 at 100 microfarad. So, yeah, I think for that we're going to have to wait until I can order those in, because I don't want to go you don't want to go up on the voltage. Voltage is something you can go up a little bit on the voltage, but for the capacitors that I have, it's just too high, because I think the only ones I have is like a 10 volt, and 10 is going to be too high. So I do need to order the 6.3, and maybe by replacing those, it may restore the drum speed. It may fix that issue. Okay. So there's, the capacitors for the real drive is going to be somewhere on this side. I think these two caps controls the capstan speed, because it says cap drive. That means capstan, but it is circling. It's got a little outline of where the cap drive is, and it's going to be this capacitor right here. That's probably bad, so I'm going to go check some of these caps and we'll see. And I can check the 6.3s. I actually had to solder them back in because when I was doing it, hold on, I think one of the animals wants in. And my sister's dog, I'm babysitting my sister's dog, and he was wanting in. He's actually trying to push the door open. He's a smart dog. Anyway, so yeah, so this is outlined caps and drive. So these two here I'm going to check, but I think that these two capacitors are probably responsible for the remainder of the issue on the drum. Now, these two caps, if they're bad, we replace them and we still don't have proper speed, then the next thing I'll do is go underneath and look at the drum motor. So I just checked the two capacitors and they are dead. So those two 6.3 volt caps are dead. I just don't think, I don't know, I might be able to put a cap in there, like a 10 volt cap in there just temporarily, just to see if it'll get the speed correct. So I might just tack on a couple of 10 volt caps. I don't have any 10 at 100. I have a 10 at 220, which is ridiculously too high. So yeah, temporarily I could tack on a couple of 10 volts, and maybe we'll do that just to see if we can restore the speed on the drum motor. So I think we do have a 10 at 47. That's too low on the microfarad. So let me look through some of my other capacitors, because I may be able to put like a, I don't want to go too high, you know. I mean, 10 volts is pretty high from 6.3, so it's gonna be something that I'm gonna have to, what I'm gonna do is tack them on from the top side of the board, and we'll put the, I think I'll nip the old caps off. Well, they're completely open anyway, so I can just tack a couple of caps on, a couple of 10 volt caps on these, and we'll see if that restores the drum speed. And the next thing that I want to tackle is checking the, I'm going to check the capacitor here on the cap drive, the capstan drive, because this is what controls the speed of that motor, and that's going to be underneath this cover here. So we'll pull this cover off here and we'll see what's underneath it. Okay, yeah, there's one electrolytic cap in there, so it looks like a 16 at 100 microfarad is what it looks like. So yeah, let's pull, I'm gonna pull that one out and change it, I think, because I really don't need to test it. I can just change it out because I have one, so why not change it out? So And that could be the reasoning for the real drive not working. So we have a couple issues with this particular machine. This is, got more than just one issue. So let me tack those caps on, and I'll put a new cap in there, and we'll be right back, and we'll see what that does, and see what our progress is, and then we'll come right back. Okay. So I went ahead and just changed those to 6.3 volts. I just changed them regularly. I was gonna attack them to the top side of the board, but I thought, you know what, I can just replace them when I get the proper ones. I did replace the one capacitor for the capstan drive, and that was a 16 out of 100. It wasn't open, but it was low on voltage, so it did need to be changed. And they were the shitty Elna capacitors, so I replace, anytime I see an Elna capacitor, I change it. So what I did, for right now, I just put a couple of 16 volt at 100. Now that is really, really high, and I'm not going to keep them in there. I'm going to replace them with the proper ones. But what I'm going to do is order the new ones, and then I will take those back out and put the proper ones back in. The reasoning for doing this is to see if we can restore our drum speed. So let's see if we can get this drum to work at the proper, and let's see if it'll even play a cassette now. So play. And it has restored the speed, and as you can see, it is now playing. Okay, so that seems to have restored the drum speed. However, it started to have issues again. So that, unfortunately, the voltage is just too high, and it's just not going to properly do it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to order the proper capacitors, and we'll put them in. But I was just thinking that I may have a couple of used capacitors. Yeah, I think I have a couple of 6.3 volt at 100 microfarad used ones that may still be good. So I could put those in, but I'm just going to order the right ones. I'm just going to order new ones and not worry so much. But as you can see, the counter was playing, but it is starting to have issues again because it was doing just fine, and now it's having trouble again. And that's going to be because the capacitors are not the right ones. But at least I know that I'm heading in the right direction. As you can see, it's starting and stopping. So yeah, that's due to the improper voltage. But what I was trying to do is seeing if that was going to restore our drum, and it seems to have done that. However, we may still end up putting a new motor for the head drum, because yes, those are the improper caps, and we're going to put the proper ones in once I get them. But at the same time, if that drum is going bad, it can do that too. That could be because of the motor. So what I'll do is we'll take the bottom off, and I'll show you the motor that needs to be changed on this unit. So we'll probably just go ahead and change out the head assembly. We'll just replace not only the motor, but we'll just put a whole nother head in. We'll just take this whole head drum assembly out, and we'll replace it with another one, because I do have another one that I can just swap out. And then that should actually restore that issue. So, you know, this machine definitely had some issues, you know, but now that I've replaced that capacitor for the capstan speed, the capstan seems to be driving the take-up and supply rails. But I do want to see if I can test. I do want to check the bottom out and check the capacitors on the idler motor circuit board, and let's just see if those need to be changed, because they may need to be changed. So we're going to take a look at the bottom side, and that's what we're going to tackle next. And then we will get the right ones for this, and we'll put those in when I get them. And then we'll take a look at this motor here. So I thought I'd go ahead and just hook it up to the monitor, to the TV, and it does actually have a picture. But you know, you will have times where the drum is working good for probably 2, maybe 3 seconds, and then it'll start acting up. But I'll show you what it does, and I'll show you that it does kind of have a picture. Not a very good one, but it does. Well, of course, on camera, it's not going to show me any picture. There it goes. See, it does have sections where it's somewhat working. So it did have a picture for a few seconds. It's actually getting worse. So see what happened? So we've got a drum motor issue. You know what I think I might do is go ahead and we'll get the bottom off here, and I think maybe I'll just go ahead and change the drum motor, and then we'll hook it back up and see if maybe it'll start working. But it's not working properly. Our capstan is now working at the right speed. Our take-up and supply reels are now working. I know that we don't have play, but let's just check the other let's check the other functions and see, because we hit play. So let's just see if we have rewind and fast forward. Okay, we do have rewind and we have fast forward. So where's the reset for the counter? There it is. So let's go ahead and hit play. Yeah, so I think by replacing the drum motor is going to definitely help our situation, but it actually now seems to be improving. Maybe I'll just try a little bit of oil and see if I can free up that drum motor and see if we can get it to start working, because it's actually, well, it was doing it'll have areas where it does really well, and then it has areas where it doesn't do so well. So at least, you know, we went from a non-functioning to a functioning machine partially. We're on the right track. We just need to keep going. So we're on the right track. Let me just, I think we'll take the bottom off here now. Okay, so basically I've took the bottom plate off, took the real table assembly out, and I'm just going to do a check. I'm going to check these capacitors to see what they're registering at. I don't think that I will need to change these capacitors, but we'll just see what the continuity is, and we'll just see if these are okay, because if these capacitors are okay, there's really no need to change them. But then again, if I do change them, then I'll know 100% that this will not fail in the future. So you know, when you refurbish something, you want to prevent anything from happening to it, especially because I offer 30-day warranty on these machines, and I want to make sure that they continue working for the customer, because they're paying me a lot of money for these machines. These machines go anywhere from $200 to $300. This particular machine is going to be running around $200. So they're paying good money for one of these machines. So I need to make sure that they work properly. So I might just go ahead and recap this board, because you know it's preventive maintenance. It's maintenance that prevents a future issue. So I think I'll just go ahead and change these out, and then we'll be right back. But maybe I'll check. Let's check the. Maybe we'll just check. So let me turn this camera around, and you can kind of see what I'm doing here. But let's just check the continuity. I just want to see if maybe these capacitors are okay, but I don't know. We'll just see here. Yeah, I gotta turn it over here. I just turn it over just like this, and let's just can check them this way. Okay, so I think the negative is on that side, so check my meter, make sure my meter's working properly. Okay, that one is registering low. That one's not, that one's completely open. These three are okay, but well, that one is low. This one's completely open. So, I'm gonna change them. So let's change. I'll just go ahead and we'll change these capacitors out. And because they left me enough room here that I can change them without removing the board. So we'll just change these out because I'm trying to prevent, you know, like I said, I'm trying to prevent farther issues, you know. As one of them fell out. Okay. So these are gonna be 16 volts at 47 microfarad. So we'll just pull these out. Sometimes I do need my pliers to pull them out, because sometimes that one might actually need to be, there we go. It can be a little difficult at times to pull them out, but yeah, let's pull that one out too. Once in a while you get a lead that's stubborn. Okay, so I pulled them out. We'll put the new ones in, and then I'll just do a service on the real table, and we'll put the real table assembly back into place, and then we will tackle the drum motor, because this is a drum motor, and sometimes the actual drum motor will fail, so because we've restored the voltage going to it, so yeah, we'll put those in. Basically, I've already done a video on how to service the real table motor, It's the SL100, my Sony SL100. I did a real table motor service, so I will show you that. And so look for that video on my channel and you'll see it, and that way you know. But basically what I'm going to do is clean the solenoid switch here, okay, and then we're going to pull the reels off, clean the post, re-oil them, put them back on, and we'll clean the motor here, the magnetic motor we'll actually clean. We'll take this idler off and clean it and put a little lubrication on the little post and put this assembly back together. Okay, so we've soldered in the new capacitors, and those got soldered in real nicely, all 4 caps. Next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to service the reel table, and then I'm going to put it back in, and then I'm going to start working on the head drum and see if maybe I can swap out the motor and see if that might help, because this is probably definitely needing to be replaced with another one. This is the first time that I've encountered a problem with the drum motor, so this is a first for me. But like I said, I'll probably just go ahead and swap out the whole assembly, because it might be a little easier to do that, because I just have a whole new assembly I can put in. So anyway, that's the progress so far, and this is going to end part 1, and part 2 will begin. So see you later. Thanks for watching, and please hit that subscribe button. I would be very much appreciated. And if you want to get updates on new videos, remember to ring that bell. So I'm going to clean the glue on the drum motor, because that glue sometimes can become conductive and can stop the motor from working. So I'm going to clean that out, and if that doesn't work, then I'm going to replace the motor assembly, and that will get this machine restored. And I do happen to have a parts deck for this particular machine, so I can definitely get this thing up and going. So anyway, okay, that's what I'm gonna try. I'm just gonna use my little dental pick here and just to pick away at the glue here, because I think this glue just becomes conductive, and that's maybe what the issue is. So we'll try this first. So the old one is out, and I marked it bad, and I'm actually going to go ahead and take the bad motor off of it, and I'll keep the heads, but we'll take the motor off. And I've got the new one in place. Okay guys, so I've been working on this for the last few hours, and I went ahead and swapped out the head assembly, the head drum with the motor. I just I put a whole new head assembly, so the motor and the video head, everything in one unit. I just swapped it out because I had a parts deck, and I just took the heads from there to put into this one. And let me show you the other heads here. So this is the other head, and I've marked bad motor. I am going to take the motor itself off of here, and and then I'm going to keep the heads because the heads are in good condition still. So that is what we're going to do. So let's just see if we fixed it, because I'm not quite sure if I fixed it or not. I think I did, but you never know. So, okay, let's see here. Let's turn it on. Okay, let's hit play. And I would say that I fixed it. As you can see, I don't want to show too much of the image, but this is like a news reporting, so I don't think anybody's gonna copyright me because it's just some old news clip. So, and we'll hit play. So, let's make sure that we have fast forward. Let's make sure we have rewind. And we do. So it's fixed. Next thing I'm going to do is do a head cleaning. And we'll clean the audio head and control track head. We'll put it back together. Now I am still going to order the correct capacitors. So I need 2 of the 6.3 volt capacitors at 100 microfarads. And I'm going to order those tonight. So those are going to be ordered. Probably take about a week to get them, and once I get them, I'll put them in, and that'll basically complete the repair on this machine. So I may do a video showing that, I may not. Let me know if you guys want to see me putting in those 2 caps. You probably don't. I probably don't have to make a video of it, but if enough people request it, I will do that video. So let me go clean the heads, and then I'll put the top cover back on, and I will call this machine done. We've done a lot of capacitor replacements. Those are all the caps that were bad, and basically it needed 2 things. It needed to have capacitors, and it needed to have a new motor for the head drum. Well, we ended up swapping out the whole drum unit. But at least I still have the heads, because I could take the heads out of the thing. One of these days I will show you guys how to replace the video heads, where we'll take the drum, we'll take this top drum assembly off, and we'll actually desolder the connectors, and we'll swap the heads out on a video. I want to do a video on how to change the heads. And how to change the heads on these are very, very simple. They're very easy to do. So, we'll do that one of these days. We'll do a video on how to replace video heads. If you guys want to see that video, let me know if you guys would like to see a video on how to replace the video heads on a 711B chassis Betamax. So we'll be right back, and once I get done doing that, cleaning the heads and stuff, I'm going to put the cover on, and then we'll do like a little review, and that'll be it on the video for the repair. There she is, all put back together, and she's ready to go to the new owner. So this will go to its brand new owner. We've got a tape here, so this thing, we'll put this in. This is something that took a while to, it took me about, because I stopped and had dinner. So I started working on this thing at around 1 o'clock, I think it was. And maybe it was, yeah, it was like 1 or 2 o'clock, and then I worked until, what, about 8 o'clock or so. So I've been working on it for a while. We had problems with the not threading the tape, and then we had problems where it wasn't playing. Then we had a problem that actually happened on camera. The video head actually not turning anymore. So that was a motor there. So several capacitors later, we got this thing up and going. Capacitors and one motor, one part later, it's up and going. And the quality is very, very good. This tape does kind of clog the head for a second there on this particular scene on this tape. This tape is pretty old, so it does kind of dirties the heads a little bit. Let's fast forward to the bad part. Much better. There we go. Now anyway, so yeah, we got this thing up and going, and it took me a while. I have definitely enjoyed the challenge. There we go. Forward. And of course it's got a bad spot, so let's get through there. There we go. Get rid of that bad spot. And seems to work pretty good now. So we've successfully restored another machine. So I now have 2 of these machines that are going to be going up for sale. So, and they come with a 30-day warranty. So you know, anybody who buys this is going to be pretty happy. And I like this machine. Let me show you real quick how many capacitors we replaced in this thing. There's about a handful of them. Some of them I threw away, but we have, you know, we had there's quite a few of them that I threw away already. But I would say that we've replaced at least 10 caps. So the nice thing is that this thing is now restored, and I really enjoyed the challenge of working on it. I enjoyed every minute of it. So hopefully, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I just want to say thank you for watching, and I hope you have enjoyed watching these videos as much as I have. I haven't watched them, obviously, but I've experienced the video, is what I mean. That I've created the video. I've enjoyed creating the video. And it would really, really help me out if you guys would hit that subscribe button. And if you want to know other videos that are coming up, hit that bell icon. I'm trying to do at least 2 videos a week, if more, if I can. But basically, I'm wanting to, you know, do as many videos as I can, and I'm trying to kind of help you guys out as well, you know, because you're seeing what I'm doing to these machines, so you're able to kind of do an assessment on your machine that's broken. You know, my goal is to not only repair customers' machines and not only repair machines that I buy to resell, but I do this to help you guys, so that you guys know when you have an idea on what's wrong. A lot of times, you know, I don't come across very many machines like this one that takes me a long time to repair. Usually I can repair these things pretty quick, because usually there's only like one issue that happens and that's causing the issues. But this one had at least 3 or 4 different issues. So anyway, thank you guys for watching, and thank you for subscribing, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye. So it turns out that the Beta Hi-Fi processor does work, but it has to be connected to the VCR in order for it to light up. So we have Raiders of the Lost Ark, which it does have Hi-Fi stereo. So this Beta Hi-Fi light will come on when play is pressed. And we got the audio hooked up, so as you can see, the light comes on, the meters are working, and we have really good quality sound. And I'll show about half that picture so that YouTube doesn't hit me with a copyright strike, because they are very well known to do that. Or I can go like that, and that will kind of make you dizzy, or that. Okay, so there we go. That is the Beta Hi-Fi processor. We've got the stereo selected, and we have we'll turn SAP off. So we have auto stereo, and we'll put auto stereo, and the MPX filter, which we've got that on as well. So we really got good quality sound with this. Basically, this is now turned into not just a super beta, but a super beta hi-fi machine. So the person that is going to be purchasing this machine is going to get the beta hi-fi processor. The hi-fi processor is in good shape. Let me show you the connections here. So this is the cable that connects to the back of the hi-fi ready machine, and you plug this cord plugs into these pins, okay, and then you connect your audio out to the hi-fi processor. Also, if you're recording audio, you need to go and put them in the input. So the video and audio coming in, the audio goes to this machine, and then your video just goes to the VCR. So if you guys never seen one of these, I mean, I don't think that the processor has been showed online before, but this is it. This is how you hook them up. This is it. See you guys in the next video. Hi guys, this is the Betamax man. This is a customer's machine. So the customer's complaint, this is a 7250. This is a super beta hi-fi stereo machine that was made by Sanyo. These are very reliable machines, very dependable machines. So we'll do a full service on this thing, but for right now, in this video, we're going to go ahead and take a look at it and see what's wrong. Customer's complaint is that it eats tapes. He also says that sometimes when he's playing a tape, he'll be watching a movie, and he says about midway into the movie, the thing just shuts off and then eats his tape. So this is probably, I know 100% that for sure it's going to need a idler tire, it's going to need new belts, and it may need to have some capacitors replaced. I do not know for sure, so let's get into it. Let's plug it in and let's go ahead. We're going to take a look at it and see what's wrong with it. The customer does not want me to do too much to it. He wants to know what's wrong with it and how much it's going to cost. So this video, we're going to do a diagnostic. I am going to go ahead and just put in a new idler tire, just so that I can get it up and going. I want to see if there's any other problems. There's probably going to be some capacitors that are not working 100%. In the head amplifier, these machines sometimes can suffer from capacitors going bad on both the head amplifier and the video board. They also have an issue sometimes when you record with them. They record in black and white. So, but we'll address those issues after we get set in. So I'm going to go ahead and take the screws off. I'm going to plug it in, and then we're going to take a look at it, okay? So I plugged it in. The timer is stuck on. These buttons aren't working. The button is jammed up underneath this plate, so we have to pull the front faceplate off and then put it back on properly, because the customer has definitely been in this thing himself. So we have to get that timer switched off before I can do anything. Okay, so we got the faceplate off. I've turned the timer off. So we'll go ahead and plug it back in, and then we'll see what else it does. Because the customer has definitely been into this machine, and it looks like one of the knobs here has come off or broke. So yeah, he's got that on wrong too. So let's take care of that, and then we'll power it back on. Okay, so we've got the power back on here, and now I can go ahead and insert the tape, and we'll see what's going on. So he has had issues with the tape. Well, the idler is not even moving. You can see the slack in the cassette. Yeah. His motor's not working either, so... So my first diagnosis right now is going to be new idler tire, and he's going to need new belts. And I'm not sure if I have any belts. I probably have some used ones that I could put on temporarily to get this thing up and going. As you can see, the tape is definitely eaten. And this is a direct drive motor for the idler. But we could have some bad capacitors, because sometimes there's a circuit board that controls the real table motor. Basically sends voltage to the idler motor, and sometimes those caps can go bad, and they can cause this symptom even with a brand new tires and belts. It could still do this, even with that, because of the issue with caps. But caps are not always what's wrong with it, but caps do go out quite a bit, so they can cause issues. So I think what I want to do is let's get this thing unplugged, and let's open. I'm going to take this top plate, we're going to pull it off so that we can get to the idler assembly. So we're just gonna simply unplug it, and let's go ahead and pull the screws off of the side here, and I hope they're not stripped out, because sometimes they get stripped out. It looks like he's been into this thing already, so, because the screws are loose, so that tells me he's been in here. So that first sign that he'd been into this machine was where the timer button was on, and it was underneath the plate, so you couldn't move the button because he put the front piece back on wrong. And these are actually not the correct screws either, so he's got the screws in wrong, so we're gonna have to get the proper ones in here. But he doesn't want to spend a lot. He wants to try to keep the bill under $100. And I think that I might be able to do that for him, but he may end up paying a little bit more depending on what's going on. But first thing we have to do is we do have to get the idler working, and so that we can find out if there's other issues. So we're going to use my other screwdriver. This one will get right in there to, but I need to get that loose. Oh, that's the first thing we're going to do. We're going to get this stuff loose here. Let's see. He probably couldn't get into the... I might have to go find me a better screwdriver to get in here, because I can't get in here with the screwdrivers that I'm using. So I will be right back, and we'll get these two. I need to get these two screws off, and it looks like he might have stripped them out. So if he stripped them out, I'm going to have a hell of a time getting them out. Okay, now I can get into the idler. So the first thing that we have to do is we've got to take one of these pieces out in order to get that tire off. So it looks like the tire is definitely rock hard. That tire is definitely needing to be replaced. So we're going to replace that, because sometimes you can replace the tire, and that'll solve it from not unthreading. It's not unthreading the tape because of the idler. So it may not be because of the belt, it's probably because of the idler. Now these machines are incredibly reliable, especially because they only need belts and tires. Sometimes they need caps, but a lot of times if you put new belts and tires into these old Sanyos, and especially the beta ones, they operate again. So let's get that off of here, and we've got to pull this out. I'll get my little dental pick here. I forgot I gotta take that spring off before I can do anything else. But I might be able to just lift it up here without... There we go. There's that piece. We'll just take that out, and then this will simply... oh yeah, we gotta take that reel too. We gotta take that reel off as well. It's been a while since I've been into one of these, so I forget. Okay, that'll come right out. So now we can pull the assembly out. I don't know why I had such a hard time getting that little bastard out, but alright. Now, I do have this is a VCR idler tire assembly. And this is just tires. These are all different size tires, and they cost me around $50, but it's worth it because it'll do multiple machines. So I think the one that we're after is right here. This is the number it's the number 400/080. OB is 0.695, ID is 0.520, and the wall is 0.130. So if you're looking for a tire to fit, that's what they are. So, and I'm just going to match it up just to see that this is the correct tire. And we're going to look at the other tire is completely shot. I mean, it has definitely got hardened. It's not in real bad shape, but it's definitely rock hard on the outside. So that's why there was no why it wasn't working. So we'll just simply put a new one on here. So we've got a brand new tire that we're going to put on. I'm going to get my little dental pick because the dental picks can be your friend, especially when you're repairing this stuff. So you gotta get it in there without any twisting or anything like that. So I'm gonna make sure it's nice and straight and flush. And it's now got a nice, soft, pliable tire that is now going to probably restore the mechanical part of it. And we'll look and see if there's any other things that we may need to do. Sometimes they do need caps in the video board. Sometimes with the recording in black and white, that can be the chroma processing board has a bad cap or something, so that can happen. So let's get this back in now, because we got a brand spanking new tire on there. I can only do 8 more machines. They had like a set of 10 tires. They were supposed to be a set of 20, but the seller opened it and used some of them, so he sold me what was remaining in the... I didn't mind, because those are extremely hard to find and they're really expensive to buy one on eBay. It's like $80, $100. Some people wanted like $80. This guy wanted $70, and I think I've talked him down to $50. And there we go. Now that one's in good, so we'll go ahead and put the reel back on. And we'll get this. Looks like there's some washers that are missing for the bottom here, but like the switch is bent. The switch for the insertion of the tape. So we're going to have to straighten that out. Good thing I seen that, because then I could straighten it out. But not too much pressure because you'll break it. But let's get this back on here. Alright, let's get that on there. And a little dental pick here. Okay guys, so we've got that taken care of. Yeah, that washer is supposed to be on the bottom here. There we go. I forgot to put that washer back in there, so. Just make sure it spins nice and free. And we'll go ahead and put these pieces back into place. We'll put this washer back on. There we go. And we'll get this back on. So your dental pick is your friend, because when you're putting some of these screws and stuff back on, you gotta put the spring back on, and they can be a little bit difficult. So the dental pick is required. I recommend having a dental pick because you can put springs and stuff back on easier. I've seen people use like screwdrivers and stuff, and I've seen people use like different things, different methods, like pencils and stuff. One guy had on YouTube, he took a pencil and tried to use it to put his spring back onto place. I'm going to get my little needle nose pliers and we'll get that back in. Okay, we've got the spring on into place here. I'm just making sure that everything is put back in properly. Now we're gonna get our, we gotta get our cut washer. Put our cut washer back on. Alright, now we've got a cut washer for the idler. So we'll put that on there. There we go. Just snap that back on in there. Let's get two tools to snap that back into place here. There we go. Okay. Alright, let's get that, let's get it powered on here. and we'll see what she does. Alright, let's see what she'll do now. And I'm sure she's going to play a tape now, so. I'm going to take over here. So. Okay. Play. Okay. She's playing a tape. There's a little bit of a slack issue. It's not quite, the tape tensioner is not quite doing its job. So we just need to re-lube that tape tensioner because it's not applying very much tension on it. But okay, so it's no longer eating tapes, and I just popped my spring off because I forgot to hold the thing into place. So we gotta pop that spring back on real quick, and this machine, we'll see in just a couple minutes here. I'll put this spring back on. There's a this is a little guide here, and it moves up and down when the tape is inserted and exits. So get a little needle nose because okay. And we'll just get the spring back on here. Let's go ahead and we'll hook up some video output here, and let's see if we can get a picture on this machine, and we'll see what happens here. Because we got the mechanical problem taken care of, but we might still have an issue with the electrical. So I'm going to go ahead and we'll put the tape in. And this is going to need to be, we're going to have to take care of that cassette housing too, because it's not quite pushing the tape all the way down like it should. So where's play? Okay, we do have a picture. We don't have a very good picture, but we do have a picture. Let me adjust the tracking here. Okay. We do have a picture. It's not very good. Actually, it's quite poor. So we need to work on that. Because that's not good at all. That's terrible. So we have an electrical issue as well. It's probably the head amplifier is going to be responsible for the bad picture. But let me try another tape, because it's always good to try different tape. I have a factory Indiana Jones that we're going to put in now that I know it's not going to eat it. Okay, let's try this one and see what happens here. it's okay. It's better, but it's not very good. So we need to look into the head amplifier. But let's just clean the heads because crap, I just popped my spring back off again, dang it. So we'll just go ahead and I'm going to put the spring back on again. We'll put this top piece back on and I'll put the front back on, and then we'll be right back. Okay, so we're going to clean the heads because that's probably why we have a bad picture. It could be that the head amplifier will need to be worked on, and that could be the case. But always try to clean the heads first to see, because you don't want to be replacing caps just to replace caps. You only replace them if they need replaced. So let's just try the simplest thing first. Alright, now we'll just put the there's quite a bit of dirt on that, so let's get another piece here. Yeah, quite a bit of dirt on the heads actually, so that's probably why it was poor quality picture, because if we got heads that are dirty, it can cause either poor picture quality or it can cause no picture at all. And in this case, it was just poor picture quality. But let's go ahead. We want to do that until it's clean. So I'm just going to do this until the paper comes up clean. So there we go. Take another piece just to dry the I'm gonna go ahead and just clean the head drum with a Q-tip here, but I just want to make sure that this is dry. Okay. So I want to use a Q-tip to clean the audio head, the control track. The whole tape path needs to be cleaned with alcohol. We're also going to have to take the tape guide, and we'll have to spray some cleaner in there and get some cleaner in there so that this tape guide will apply the proper tension, because it's not applying very good tension. So okay. Yeah, you never know. Sometimes the simplest things like cleaning is what's needed. So these belts actually feel nice and soft and pliable, but I am going to go ahead and recommend to the seller that we go ahead and replace those belts, even though they're still kind of soft and they might be okay. This is a customer's machine, so I need to replace the belts. Even if I don't feel they quite need a replacement, I'm going to do it, because we're going to make sure that it works further down the line. Because if you don't do the job properly, it'll come back to bite you in the ass. So that's, wow, that was a lot of dirt off there. I got a lot of dirt off of all the audio and control track head. And I am going to do some checking. I'm going to check, you know, some of these capacitors to make sure that they are good and don't need to be replaced. Some of them may need to be replaced. I don't know yet, so we just gotta, but at least I got it to where it's now working, and we got no problems as far as the mechanical aspect of it. But yeah, so I'm gonna order some belts for this thing, and then we're gonna put new belts in, and I'm gonna go ahead and check the capacitors on the video board and check them in the head amplifier. And I think that'll conclude my repair. So I think that'll be fine now. So let's just clean these little posts, because they if they're dirty, the tape will squeal. Yeah, we just want to make sure that we're doing a thorough job here. So, and yeah, the little tape guides are not clean, and they will squeal. We'll go ahead and clean that pinch roller here. Okay. Alright, let's put a tape in now, and we'll just see. Yeah, let's put a tape in here. Might help if I plug it in though. Alright, there we go. Okay, so this is recorded in beta 3. This is one of the old tapes that I had got. On one of the machines, the guy sent me a bunch of tapes, so I just made them into test tapes. Some of them do have some vintage commercials on them, which I will get off. But let's check. So we got the playback okay. The picture's good now. The picture is actually fine. So I don't see anything wrong with the picture. It's just dirty heads. Also the, tape guides and stuff, and the head amplifier. I mean the tape guides needed to be cleaned. The audio and control track head, and of course the video head. And I put 2 pieces of paper before I got the heads clean. So this is at the ending of the movie, so I'm going to stop it. And we're just making sure that there's no issues with rewinding or fast forwarding. Also want to make sure that it's not eating the tape. So that motor sounds nice and strong. I'm just going to rewind this tape back a little ways. And it does have good, strong motor. Okay, so we wound it about halfway. I'm just going to go ahead and we'll hit play here. These belts are so soft that I'm thinking that maybe he might have, it's possible he might have replaced that belt. This one down here is not feeling all that great, so maybe he just changed one belt, or somebody changed a belt in it and thought that that was going to restore it, and it didn't, because the idler tire, of course, was completely dried out. It was bad, so... But the picture is good, and it is playing back just fine. And we need to go ahead and I'm just going to do a check here. So the reasoning for replacing the belts is to make sure that this machine is going to work for a long time. Okay, so one thing that I can do is I can do, I am going to contact him. I'm going to let him know what the price is going to be. And I'm going to recommend to him that we replace all the belts. I'm going to do some cleaning and re-lubricating some of these parts, some of these gears. Basically I'm going to do a full service, because these gears need to be cleaned and re-greased. We need to apply just a little bit of grease to this worm gear here. Apply just a little bit to the cassette housing. And that should get this machine to where it should last for a long time. Because the video heads on this machine are very good. And it was just dirty heads that was causing some of the issues. So I'm going to unplug it now, and we're going to take a... I don't think... I don't think I'll need to do any replacing of the capacitors, but I might check the. I'm just gonna do some checks on some of this, but it really doesn't need anything else except for just it needs some new belts, and I think that's basically all that it needs. And then it needs to have the cleaning and re-lubricate everything. So cleaning the old grease off, putting new grease on. I mean, this thing should be fine. I'm just gonna go ahead and let's see if we can do a. I think maybe we'll do a test recording and see if we'll see if this thing will record. Yeah, I could do that. I could test it, and we can do we can do a test. We could do a test recording. I do have some tapes that are. I do have a couple blanks here that I could use here. I think I've got one here. I've got a that's not blank though. Let me get a blank one. See, I have a blank one somewhere. Here we go. Here's a tape that we can use. So we'll just put, we'll do a video input, and I'll show you the quality of the picture here. Let me go to the TV and I'll show you the quality of the picture, because it does have good quality picture. So we'll go ahead and we'll do that. And I will put a set of I'll put some inputs. And just hit play. So there's the picture quality. It's quite good. I don't want to show too much because YouTube will copyright me, so I'm only going to show, you know, like part of the image. I can show that. That way I can show you the quality without YouTube copyright infringement, because YouTube does that. If you have a picture of your TV screen for too long, YouTube calls it copyright infringement. So, but the beta hi-fi is lighting up, and we have both of the U meters are working, and there's no issues. So we got the record level right in the center. This volume adjustment is actually just for record level. So this is for the volume of the input. So if you go too high, it'll distort the audio. So you want to keep it. I usually, if I'm going to go up on the volume, I'll go up to like number 7. That way you're getting a little bit more sound quality, but you're not going so high that you're going to distort the audio when you make a recording. But I'm going to put it back on number 5, because that's the setting that it's supposed to be on. So let's go ahead and we'll make a test recording on this thing real quick, and we'll see what the record quality is like. The only bad thing about these particular Sanyos is that, like most Sanyos, they cannot play back Beta 1. And it is a Super Beta, and it will not play back Beta 1S or anything, but it'll play back Beta 2 and 3. It won't do Beta 1 at all. So I think Sanyo should have made these things not only play Beta 1, but I think they should have made them play Beta 1 high band. And maybe, I don't know why they decided not to make it play Beta 1. I mean, it just doesn't make sense, but that's the only thing about the Sanyo Super Beta Hi-Fi that I didn't like. And most of the Sanyos won't play Beta 1. However, if you have a Sanyo 4020, it'll play back the original Beta 1. If you have a 4027, it will actually play back Beta 1S. So it's, you know, one of these machines, this was like supposed to be the high-end machine back in the day, and it really wasn't, you know. But anyway, let's do the test recording and then we'll show you the quality. We'll just input a DVD and we'll record off of it. So I've got an input source, so we're just going to do a little test recording off of a Blu-ray disc. This is a B movie, and animated movies are actually the best for record testing because they have a lot of colors and a lot of brightness, so recordings off of these look really, really good. So let's go ahead and do that. And who knows, we may have a issue with black and white when we record. So let's go ahead and insert this. I'm just going to fast forward it just a little bit, because then we'll put the counter on and then we'll make a recording. So this is loading. So we'll get our remote here. I wonder if this thing is going to record properly, or is it going to record in black and white? Now, if it records in black and white, I can let the seller know that it's not recording properly and I can repair it. But he may not want that. He may just want it strictly for playback. That's usually what people want these things for, is playback. They usually don't care about recording with it, because most people, I'm probably one of the very rare people who do still record on videotape. So let's go to the scene selection, and we're just gonna go with number 2, and we'll hit the record. So it's recording now, and I can't show too much of it because of the copyright infringement. The screen is actually blanking, so I don't know why it's doing that, but this particular player has been developing an issue when it's being run out with RCA, and it might be because the HDMI cable is hooked up to it and as well, so it's probably switching between HDMI and RCA, because I think I have to have the HDMI unplugged so that it doesn't do that. But let's go ahead, we'll record this for just a little while, and then we'll rewind it back and we'll play it back and we'll see what it does. So okay, so we're gonna go ahead and play it back. So it's recording in black and white, so That is going to be an issue on the Chroma processing board. So that's going to be this board right here, and we can definitely I'm going to tell the customer if he wants to have that part of it working, and if he does, we'll get that replaced. So yeah, there is going to be some bad capacitors that keep it from being able to record, because it is recording in black and white. Now we can fix that issue. That's no big deal, but we'll see what he wants, because sometimes, you know, most of the time these are just being used to play back tapes. And like I said, I'm one of the very few who actually use them to record off television, because Super Beta actually has a very good picture quality. And now I have, well, I have my ED Beta. Oh, and do you guys remember my my 1000D, my SLHF1000D? I was able to get the part that I needed to repair it, and I had the video of the repair on it, and what it was the voltage regulator had failed, and so I just put a new one in, and now it's working. So I've got an SLHF 1000, I've got an SLHF 1000D, and I've got an a EDV 7500, which is an ED beta. So I've got 3 machines that perform beautifully, and I love the looks of the 1000D. We'll do a demo video on that, you know, in a little bit, like a little bit later. But I lost the footage of the repair because my computer crashed. But anyway, so we do have it playing back tapes. I'm gonna recommend that we get new belts for it, and I'll ask him, see if he wants to fix the record issue. So this is a brand new tape, so alright. And I'm kinda hoping that he wants to fix the record issue, because it would be nice to do a video on it so that you guys can see why it's doing it, and we can I can show you how to repair this problem if you're having the same issue, because these Sanyos seem to have issues with recording records in black and white. So, but we'll see what it does in my other player. Maybe it'll play in my other player. Well, yeah, it's still going to be in black and white. So, but yeah, we'll see if we can get them to allow me to repair the record issue so that I can do a video on it. And if he doesn't want it done, then we can always find another one of these with the issue and do it for later on. But I don't know, maybe I'll just fix the issue and not tell him. I'm not going to charge him for fixing the record issue if he doesn't want it fixed. I can still do it so that you guys know what to do. But that'll be it on this video for right now. See you later. Bye-bye. Hi, this is the Betamax Man. We have another Sony SLHF R70. The R stands for Beta Hi-Fi Ready. I do have the processor as well that we're gonna work on, because that one powered on for about a second and then it shut off. So we'll look at the Hi-Fi processor a little later. But right now I'm gonna get I just plugged it in for the first time. It does seem to power on, I don't know if it works. The guy said it was untested. Kind of hoping that it doesn't work, because I'd like to have a challenge today. Well, my one challenge will be the hi-fi processor, so we're going to take a look at that. But I did take the screws off, so we're going to pop the panel off, and then we'll take a look at it.